Alright, so this is Pinhook. I had to go to Delaware for this one. I have not seen it anywhere else.
So...
it's pretty light.
Yeah, this is
it's like
really
golden.
light. It looks really young. You said it's what?
Years.
4 years?
Approximately. It's somewhere around there. It's also... It is worth noting, this is non-chill filtered.
Okay, so that's going to help this tremendously.
Yes, it's non-chill filtered. Every release is a different batch. It's not like a uniform thing. There are different batches with different profiles.
Batch projects, okay.
This one's called Bohemian Bourbon. This is a 2020 release. 95 proof, so it has that going for it too. It's not watered down.
It's a little watered down, but from the sounds of it, it also sounds like...
It's not dropped down to 80 like a lot of craft lengths too.
Yeah.
But...
So it smells young, a little young, but it smells really sweet too. Like... Caramel, I would say I get a ton of, like
I'm getting...
pastry dough.
I can see that. Where it smells like, again, the young and doughy, but not like that sort of, like, yeasty young note. It smells
it smells
actually
like dough.
matured, like dough that's made to actually become something.
I would say cinnamon bun dough, like a pre-baked cinnamon bun.
I can see that, yeah.
But yeah, then you do get some
sugar.
caramel.
I'm getting some fruit, like...
I would say like maybe pear a little bit.
Yeah,
it's like a faint light fruit.
Pear, it could be apple, but again, it would be faint.
Yeah, this would be like a red, delicious apple where it's like very sweet, very not bright like a, Fuji apple or Granny Smith apple would be. Very sweet on the palate. Minimal burn.
It has a warmth to it, but it doesn't... It's not like it has a long finish or anything.
No. Yeah, the burn isn't even that prevalent. Like, this drinks like it's probably like 80... Like, I would say 86 proof. Like, this drinks like it would be 86 proof.
I could see that.
Based on the heat. On the flavor, like, this has a more oily mouthfeel for sure. I don't want to say super full body because it is kind of light because it's young and, like...
Right.
It still tastes young.
It doesn't taste like it tastes young, but not in the when we usually say something tastes young and it's not a good thing. It's not super reminiscent of that.
Yeah,
it just tastes like it has room to grow.
This tastes like it's started to bridge into whenever it's going to start pulling the oak flavors out of the bourbon or out of the oak in the barrel. Feels like they dumped it out as soon as that was starting. So like you got rid of some of the bad stuff and that like evaporated off. And it was starting to pull the good out of the wood, and they're like, "All right, we don't want to."
Like I know that they intend to. I know they have different cask finishes, and they intend to make longer aged stuff. So I think this is. They wanted it to get to a. They didn't want to do the typical craft distillery thing, where they know it's not their best thing, but they need to make money. It's 2 years. It's drinkable. There's people who will drink it. They actually wanted it to be at a point where, they didn't. Like they ideally would want to age this maybe 2-3 more years at least.
Right.
But it is at a point where they know that people will enjoy it.
Right.
And it actually has flavor, it has presence, it actually it doesn't drink like a 2-year whiskey.
It definitely doesn't, no. And that's my question here is this is true craft, right? This isn't like MGP sourced.
I believe so. Let's do some research.
Yeah, look that up because that's my next question is this actually sourced or is this like true craft? Because if this is true craft, it's not on the level of New Riff, but like...
It's up there.
I would drink this. Repeat buying a bottle would be one thing, but I would not regret purchasing a bottle of this, like, ever.
So, let's see. It's a Kentucky, so that is worth noting. I don't know that it's MGP then.
It can't be MGP.
If they label Kentucky, I don't think it can.
Yeah, if they put Kentucky on the label, it has to be from Kentucky.
It is. So they were MGP up until 2017. Like, this is their own distillery.
Okay.
They've since contracted with Castle and Key.
Okay.
But still, that was a 2018 review that said it won't be ready for another few years. So I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, Castle and Key. So sourced but not MGP. I don't even know that that's necessarily that sourced. I don't know how much Castle and Key actually...
I've never even heard of them. Like, it's not like MGP or Four Roses, who are like the two big source.
Castle and Key is a distillery in Woodford County, Kentucky. They are... So they have some of their own things. They do some sourcing. They do... Yeah, so they're sourced, but they're like locally sourced, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, it's not...
That's probably like a bigger craft.
Yeah, but they're a bigger craft distillery that actually puts a focus in not just sourcing it out, but sourcing out blending and creating the good products. This is basically like under their name kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And yeah, this is the first. This batch in particular is the first one from Castle and Key.
Okay.
Custom mash bill, 75% corn. Wait for this to load so I can see the rest.
I'm wondering if it's a wheater. Because it doesn't have any rye
10% rye, 15% malted barley.
Oh, that's why there's
blended 100 barrels of this 34-month bourbon. So it's
Gotcha.
3 years about.
Almost 3 years, yeah.
That tastes really developed for an under 3-year bourbon.
I don't know if I would say developed, but it definitely doesn't have like the negative.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's what I mean. Like it tastes. It doesn't taste like it's under 3 years.
Yeah. It
tastes young, but it doesn't taste that young.
Yeah, they found either the right distillate, the right aging process, or I don't know what, but like...
Each year Pinhook releases a bourbon and a rye under 3 different labels. Straight, high proof, and single barrel. Let's see. Yeah, so it's sourced, but again, not sourced by one of the big names. So this is like some interesting... We're falling down a rabbit hole here trying to figure out what the deal with this is.
Also, Rabbit Hole, great distillery.
Rabbit Hole, great distillery, yes.
Also craft.
Also craft. I still think New Riff's got them, but they're up there.
I would have to agree. I think the New Riff is doing the best, like, of anybody, especially because, like, I think they did the right thing by putting their product out at 100 proof, and then also...
100 proof, and then their cask strength, which isn't that much higher.
No,
but it makes a difference.
Yeah. Plus
even the rye they put out at 100 proof, even though it's a rye. So
yeah.
Can they call it a bottle and bond if it's a rye?
Yeah, bottled and bond isn't. They would just call it bottled and bond rye instead of bottled and bond.
Oh yeah, I have written house. I should know that. But so what's your verdict on this?
This is a bottle where if I bought it, I would be happy I bought it. I wouldn't complain. I don't know if I would buy another one.
I think that's where I think I would want to try them, like try future releases. I don't know if I would buy another of this one. I want to try it as it's aged longer, or there's. I would love to try their cask strength expression of this.
I would like to see a cask strength, and I would like to see an age stated bourbon. Like those two things were what I was going to say.
But what's nice is that they don't hold back that info. They do tell you exactly how long it's aged. They just don't write it on the bottom.
Right.
So I'll give them that they don't hide any of it.
Right.
It's not that there is no age statement. They just don't display an age statement.
Right. And I think that. Yeah, I would say that this like confirms my like personal feelings that the only good craft comes out of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've had Indiana craft, we've had PA craft, we've had.
I would give. I mean, there's exceptions, but as a general rule, I agree. My exceptions being some of the Texas ones I've liked.
Well, Texas too, yeah, but Texas whiskey is almost completely different. Like I almost put Texas bourbon and like standard bourbon in two very different categories.
Yeah, I guess if we're talking like like north of Texas.
Yes, like I'm talking like bourbon.
I don't think you can count southern whiskeys in this just because the climate's too different.
Yeah, they're just that much
extreme.
different. Like
kind of makes me want to, instead of trying to trade that Wyoming whiskey, crack it open and see if it has a similar kind of effect.
I would be interested, but at the same time, you hear everybody say how good Texas whiskey is, like between Garrison Brothers, Balcones. I have never heard anybody say anything about Wyoming whiskey.
I've heard people, like, I haven't heard anyone rave about it, but I also haven't heard too much negative either.
That's true.
I've heard, like, middle of the road, which, okay. If it's middle of the road, like, I won't be disappointed. I won't be blown away, but... Yeah, you can... I think that part of what contributed for this Pinhook to be where it's at is Castle and Key, or I guess, making the right choices with it.
Right.
With non-chill filtering it, higher proof.
And
they're doing the blending, they're doing all of it.
And that's one of those things, too, where, they're trying to appeal to true whiskey drinkers instead of just, like, the average, like, craft, whatever.
Right, they're making a craft, and it's not at an unreasonable price. This is $37.
Yeah, like a non-chill filter, 95 proof craft at $35.
It's hard to beat. The only ones who really compete with that are New Riff, having a bottle of Bond at 100.
Yeah,
at 40, rather.
Because, Rabbit Hole, I think their stuff is at 90 for the most part.
Yes.
And they're also, like, their cheapest is 50.
Right.
So.
When we take that into consideration, but at the same time, Rabbit Hole has a lot more going for it in terms of flavor so far.
True. I would say that, for 35
they also
bucks,
have more to back it.
Yeah.
But for $35, I'm not at all disappointed with this. I actually, at that price, I do enjoy it. I don't know that I'd repurchase this particular one. I'd want to see where it progresses.
Right. Yeah, at that price point, that actually shines an even brighter light on it, because, that puts it in, competition with, Knob Creek and, other...
And it offers something really unique in that price range.
Right.
When you start comparing this to the $50, $60 craft whiskeys, you might get a bunch that don't taste that different, but you're paying a lot less for something like this.
Right.
But...
Yeah, no, I give it...
Not bad at all.
I give it a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. I would say 6.5.
Yeah, that's about, I think, where I put it. I'd probably lean a little bit more toward the 7. But yeah, that's about where I put it. Keeping in mind for those watching that, if we give something a 10, it is literally one of, if not the best thing we've ever tried in our life. 5 is where we put our daily sippers.
Right.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, this is more of a...
Knob Creek 9 years, a 5 or a 6 at best.
I'd put it at a 6, because that would be my daily sipper over all the other 5s.
Right. But keeping in mind that the standard,
also,
5 is the standard,
yes.
So this is still above standard.
Yeah, this is not an ABC standard. This is not an A, B, C, D, and F, or 70 and below.
Right. This is,
average is a 5. That's not a low rating, it's an average rating.
Right. If we give something a 4, that doesn't even necessarily mean it was bad. It just means that there's
it's a level
average stuff that
substandard.
pick better. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Whenever you get to 2s and 1s, those are things where it's I don't want to
pour
drink
this
it.
out?
Yes. 1 is an absolute drain pour for sure. 2 is I really don't want to drink this.
Can we add a 0 in for Paul John Nirvana? Can this rating go into the negatives? Because I think I'd put that in the negatives.
I think we can give that a hell. We're gonna go below 0 and go straight to hell.
Woo. We're going 0 Kelvin on this boy.
It was bad. It tasted like vomit. I've never had a whiskey that tasted like vomit.
We're really good at trash talking this on other videos for other reviews.
Dude,
this is
fuck
the
Nirvana.
5th one. Fuck Paul John Nirvana.